Welcome to that 80s show. Flies everywhere. Dori, a lot of flies in Johannesburg.
Time flies? Or?
Are we having that conversation about the fly infestation in our fair city?
I mean, it's a part of our daily lives.
Reminds me of Louis the Fly. What killed Louis the Fly? What was that TV ad in the 80s?
Was it Target?
It was Target.
I think it was Target or Doom.
I feel like an ad like that wouldn't fly today. It's kind of like subject.
I think it would.
You think so?
Yeah.
You can't.
I think people don't care about insects.
No, people love insects. People are all about, like, if you see a spider, they're like, don't squish it, take it outside.
Different. Of course you don't squish the spider.
Flies? What's the difference of a fly to a spider?
Yeah, I don't know. Flies are horrible.
Shout out Louis the Fly.
Shout out.
Did he have a song? I feel he had a song.
I don't think so. Maybe in your head.
A lot of things have a song in my head.
Mm-hmm.
This is that 80s show. We're going to go around the world of the 1980s. What's been happening in the 80s this past week? Does that make sense?
Yes.
And everything you hear on today's show can be found on that 80s show SA on Facebook, that place of Mark Zuckerberg. For now. And this week, Dori, the Grammys.
Yeah, I pay zero attention to the Grammys.
Me neither. It's
None.
just a lot of people who I actually did know a few people, but it's people that I know but I don't care for.
The only thing I know is that Beyonce won Best Country Album, which I'm sure has upset many people.
Watts.
Yeah.
The Watts.
Yeah.
The MAGA Brigade.
Yes.
I don't give a shit, actually. I honestly couldn't care
I love
less.
country music. I do not like her country music.
So
if I cared, I would also be upset, but I don't care.
So the only reason we're talking about this is so that I can have a tenuous link to talk about the Grammys in the 80s.
Right, okay.
So I'm surprised we've never done this before.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Grammys, 80s, what was going on? Of course, we know everything was dominated by Michael Jackson. It was basically...
And Madonna.
Michael Jackson, Madonna, Whitney Houston. Michael Jackson, Madonna, Whitney Houston, Milli Vanilli. Michael Jackson, although I think they won 1990. Could have been. Anyway.
Prince, maybe?
So, you bring me onto that. I wondered which 80s bands never won a Grammy in the 80s.
Okay.
Now, some of these won Grammys later, but at the peak 80s, when they were huge, they did not win. And then some acts that did win, right?
Okay.
So, let's start off with Dori. Shocking. You'll be shocked to hear this. Queen never won a Grammy in the 70s and 80s.
Huh.
Think about how massive Queen
Are you saying
were.
they won in the 90s?
So they won a Lifetime Achievement Award. So that means they never won a Grammy. Queen never won a Grammy, especially in the 80s.
Why? Like, who beat them?
But now,
who was the competition?
The Grammys is so American focused.
Yes.
You know, that's the thing. But still, I mean, Queen...
No, but Queen was global.
They were global.
Like,
they were so crossover. So Queen never won one.
So I'm wondering, like, who they were up against that they never actually managed to get the awards.
I mean...
Because was it best rock band?
That's the thing. How do you categorize Queen?
Yes.
They're difficult to categorize. They're not technically pop. They're not technically rock.
More rock than pop, I think.
They're not... I mean, what are they? They're not technically international compared to a US audience. So what are Queen? Never won a Grammy.
Okay.
This one less surprising because they're a bit more of a cult band. The Smiths never won a Grammy, nor did The Cure. But I think you can understand those two, even though they're huge hit makers.
Yeah.
Never won Grammys.
Also very British, eh?
Very British. Def Leppard, no Grammys.
Huh.
In the 80s. Journey.
Well, Journey are really just popular now.
No, they were.
I mean, they were popular,
they were
but
huge
like
in the 80s. When I get to naming some of the bands that have won Grammys,
I'm going to be shocked.
And you're not going to put Journey in there.
Oh, wow.
Okay, Journey could have at least beat out one of them.
Well, we all know that awards are political.
Obviously. Another very British again, Duran, no Grammys. He has another. Guns N' Roses did not win a Grammy.
Huh.
But again, that sort of music, it's probably like soft dad rock now. But then,
But
so aggressive.
I mean, they didn't appear on the scene. They thundered onto the scene.
Yeah.
If there was a newcomer category.
But that's what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
not even that.
Yeah.
Not even that.
Because, I mean, they just were huge immediately.
And another British, of course, very British, Depeche Mode. Never won a Grammy. Right.
Do you think these guys care?
Oh, you know what? I think it's important. I mean, because everyone wants a US number one. Everyone wants to chart in the US. Here's some others. Tina Turner won Grammys, but not for any of her 80s songs.
I'm guessing some sort of lifetime thing as well, hey?
It doesn't say lifetime, but I imagine she would have. Prince, he won Grammys, but not for any of his 80s albums like 1999 and Purple Rain. They were snubbed in the major categories.
I think his 90 stuff did just do better, though. It was a bit more mainstream.
Yeah, probably.
Less sexual.
Okay, yeah. Pat Benatar, she nominated, but only in 2022 did she win a Lifetime Achievement Award. Billy Idol.
Also
huge,
British.
Huge. Rebel Yellow and White Wedding. Massive songs in the US, no Grammys. And then another, not so surprising, Ozzy Osbourne, but he did win a Grammy in 1994 as a solo artist. Now, you could, now a lot of them win Lifetime Achievement Awards, get other things later on, and it would, but in the 80s, didn't win anything. Then I went, okay, who are some one-hit wonders? Because you can go with those bands. You're going, okay, who are you competing with? Like we said, Michael Jackson, Madonna, Whitney Houston. Like, how does anybody get ahead of those three in the 80s? You know, impossible. Kenny Loggins, right? You're not beating out those four. Those four are just eating up everything. Here's some one-hit wonders that do have a Grammy. Now, Journey do not have a Grammy from the 80s. Queen do not have a Grammy from the 80s. Tina Turner does not have a Grammy from the 80s. Here's some people who do. Bobby McFerrin.
Oh, come on. That song was huge.
For Don't Worry, Be Happy.
Dude.
Okay, but
it was huge. And it doesn't matter that it was a one-hit wonder. First of all, they might not have realized at the time it was going to be a one-hit wonder.
True story. But
it's huge. It's still big. It's still a big song.
Record and Song of the Year.
It was number one on the chart forever.
I know.
Forever.
Is it
Journey? I agree with that one.
Okay.
I agree with it.
Okay. We kind of go, okay, maybe it's we had some British bias in an American market, but Men at Work, they won Best New Artist for Down Under.
Okay, Australian, first of all.
What did I say?
British?
No. I said there was a British bias, but here's an Australian band. That's kind of what I was getting at. If I had the energy to redo that and re-edit it back in, I would. But that's what I was getting at.
We like that you're human and not AI.
So can we blame the bias? Men at Work won a Grammy.
Also, big song, hey? Big song. And also maybe they were like, let's give the Australians something.
Yeah, and they'll never hear about it. So if they don't hear about it, we can just give another one to Michael Jackson. The song's released in the 70s because he won in the 81 Grammys. No, the song came in 1980. In the 1981 Grammys, this song won Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Record of the Year, and Best New Artist. Christopher Cross and Sailing.
I agree.
I also agree. I listened to that song yesterday. I was like, fucking hell, this song is fantastic. You put that out today and people are going, what a great song.
Yep.
Right?
Total
He never did anything else after that.
No, he did. He did lots of stuff. That was his big hit, but he did lots of stuff.
Nothing. Okay, yes, I agree with you, but nothing as big as that.
Nothing as big as that. But he did lots of amazing songs, actually.
Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Record of the Year, Best New Artist. That's unreal. And in 1980, Best New Artist was Kajagoogoo for Too Shy.
Okay.
They won. They won Best New Artist in 1980, and then Grammy in 1983. They never won anything again, although Limahl did win a Grammy for Neverending Story. Deserved. No Journey. Now you're going to tell me that if you're Journey, you're not going to feel snubbed.
Okay. There's a bit of a snub there.
I did look at Milli Vanilli when they won their Grammy.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't beat out clowns to win their Grammy. I mean, Soul to Soul were in there. Like, they beat out some really big artists to win that Grammy. And then they never, pass it down. They just, cancel that category that year. Now, a story we touched on last week, and we kind of, passed over it very quickly, but I feel it's worth a revisit.
Okay.
Because it features one of our favorite people. You know who it is, but let's pretend Maybe people are catching up on the show.
Okay.
They may be watching in a weird order or listening to the show in a weird order. Maybe they missed the story. We know the Masked Singer, right?
Right.
People dress up in elaborate costumes and they sing, and you have a group of B-grade celebrities having to guess who they are. What do you call those B-grade celebrities? They're not judges.
I've never watched the show.
Okay.
The panel?
The panel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wild guess.
Usually made up of B-grade celebrities, like somebody who's famous in a sitcom, a podcaster. Like it's normally nobody's.
Okay. Now, there's like an audience as well, right? Does the audience get to vote?
No, I don't think
they just watch.
I think that it's like the whole thing is you guess who it is, but I don't think anybody votes. I think you just got different celebrities.
Yeah, but in terms of like the audience gets to guess, no? There's no audience guessing?
I don't know if they guess.
That would be a bit tricky.
Fuck, I don't.
Raise your hand if you know who it is. You over there in the blue.
I honestly don't know. So the panel tries to guess.
Right.
I don't know what I really don't understand that part of it. Anyway, the fun thing is you get to see people you haven't seen in a while, or you get to see people you're not used to singing.
Yes, because they're not generally
they're
singers.
not generally singers, right? So it's people all over, right? So I'm going to show you a clip. So this is the Masked Singer in Spain, right? And there was a character called the Hippopotamus in Spain.
Okay.
Right. Now, we're going to put this video up, but the audio is awesome. You can totally understand what's going on. We're going to put this up, that 80 Show SA, on Facebook. Here is the character called the Hippopotamus. He's performing one of our favorites by Hathaway, Baby Don't Hurt Me.
Right.
But like some remixed version. Okay, so Dori, I'm going to not pump the music up all the way. I want you to watch and describe along as the hippopotamus performs, right? So let's just do this and click play. If you want to go to that 80 Show SA Facebook, check out the video. It's already there. And watch along, play along with us. Watch the hippopotamus, Dori. No, there he is.
Yeah. Very cool looking hippopotamus. This is a weird remix of the song.
Yeah.
So the hippopotamus looks
like a homie.
He's got like a cool sleeveless jacket. Is that denim leather?
He's got abs.
Very big abs. Cool sunglasses on top of his head.
No, the judge, everyone's going crazy in the audience.
Dancing. People dance well.
They're showing.
There's other people in weird costumes.
There's the others, yes.
Okay.
Okay, now beats, everyone's going crazy.
Yeah.
Hippopotamus singing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we can. Everyone's excited to try. Who is that? Who is that? Who is Hippopotamus? Who is Hippopotamus? So here comes the reveal. I don't know if this is after weeks, if this is at the end of the show. I don't know if there's one per show.
Yeah.
This is not Dori and Paulo explain the Masked Singer to you. It's got another reason. Now comes the reveal. Now listen very closely, because this is becoming a running theme. Last week we were making fun of people's accents. May do the same this week.
All right.
What happens now, we at the reveal, we see the hippopotamus. We have the host, a very excitable man, a Spanish Barrett, the celeb savant, is now going to reveal all. Sit back and listen to this.
Hipopótamo. Are you David Hasselhoff? Todos juntos. Quítatela. 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 Take it off. Take it off.
People are very excited. Now they're telling him to take off his head.
Yeah, just to be clear.
He's battling. He's struggling. Oh, everyone's... Camp man is very excited.
Oh my God!
Estevez off! The panel are going crazy. David Hasselhoff is loving it.
They're about as excited as you are just to see David Hasselhoff normally. There's a lot of excitement.
Listen to the panel. Listen, this one guy goes crazy.
I know you said it.
It's such an honor. You're an icon. I grew up with you. I watch all your shows.
Thank you.
You're such an icon. They are about to die.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
and as a singer, very famous singer you are.
Well, I am.
Yeah. I saw you in the 80s.
Yes, that's right. That's right. We all come from the 80s.
Dios mío, pero esto es un icono, por favor. Esto es una leyenda.
So that lady, we all come from the 80s. Evidently, she's somebody. I'll just tell you something
Not
right
familiar
now.
to me.
She may come from the 80s. Her face comes from last week's face catalog. That lady has had a lot. Even if
She looked like she was wearing a mask.
that's on him. There's no way. There's no way, David. He's had a bit of work. There's no way he would have recognized her at
No.
all. He's just being polite.
Yes.
He's just being polite. Like, I mean, we know he had a fling with Patricia Lewis. He did not have a fling with that lady. He does not know her from the 80s. So,
That
David,
was very funny.
David Hasselhoff,
David.
Hippopotamus, are you David Hasselhoff? And he is. And so
That was cool. It's like such a happy video.
I know, but it's the Hoff.
I know.
It always is with the Hoff. You know what I mean? It's like you're just always going to have a
just
good time.
knows how to enjoy life, hey?
You know, and he loves being the Hoff. Like you have to, like that moment of like when he takes his head off and he stands and he just like draws in the crowd's adulation.
The
You can just feel like that man has just added 20 years onto his life because
Yeah.
that's what he
feeds off it.
feeds off
Absolutely.
being the Hoff.
Yeah. I mean,
you know,
wouldn't you?
Oh,
if
no,
you
totally.
were the Hoff,
I would be.
you would have to capitalize on it in this way.
I mean, I saw him in London at the
Yes.
Cannonball Run at the launch of it. And he just stood there, just like in that, just very tall.
He is very tall.
Very tall.
Yeah.
And he was just absorbing the aura from the crowd of he saw David Hasselhoff, and he was just taking it all in. And, you know, fantastic. So I'm glad.
So that was Spain, not Germany.
Not Germany. But you see, I
Yeah.
think Germany, can you
Yeah.
imagine?
I mean,
Firstly, everyone will know who he is.
Yeah.
No challenge. They're
because
like,
the way the guy said, I grew up listening to you.
I watched all your shows.
I watched all your shows.
Yeah. So.
As in Knight Rider and Baywatch. Those are all the shows.
Definitely on YouTube on rerun, because that guy who said that is like 5. He's very, very young.
He was young.
So it's just the
that
fun.
made me happy.
It is. That is.
It was a happy video.
You know, and like if like I was wondering, like, you know, I saw a survey a few weeks ago about the happiest countries in Europe, and Spain was number 1. I was like, that's weird. And then obviously
Oh, yeah.
they'd done the survey a few days after that.
I'll tell you why Spain's number 1.
¿Por qué?
Because they nap every day.
I nap every day and I'm fucking miserable.
I think countries that have a siesta are generally happier.
Yeah.
Apparently there's good weed in Spain.
Okay.
That could be it as well.
Maybe that's why they're
Good
sleeping.
food.
We don't know if there's good movies in Spain. We know there were good movies in the 1980s. How was that for a seamless link? Every week, Dori and I
Absolutely
go
seamless.
and get a multimedia recommendation. Sometimes it's a movie, sometimes it's a podcast, sometimes it's a fever dream Dori had that she says and recommends it for us.
And you still haven't actually said what I've got this week.
Because I literally have no idea.
Yes, I know. So, you know that one of my favorite people from the not only from the 1980s, but I discovered him in the 1980s. He is still a huge star today. Robert Downey Jr.
Never heard of him. He's trending, I think. I'm
Is
off.
he?
I'm off social media, so I wouldn't know, except Facebook, which is fantastic because my mom's there. Because I think there's a lot of stuff coming out about new Avengers movies.
Oh, you see, so I don't watch the Marvel movies. I watched Iron Man 1.
Mm-hmm.
Took a while because I kept falling asleep in it. They're just not my kind of movies. And
Okay.
I love Robert.
Okay.
Love him. Never watched any of the others. Never watched Iron Man 2. I don't know how many there were. 5, 6, 7, whatever. Never watched any of the Avengers. So I kind of stopped my Robert watching
So just to help you
before
there.
that.
Okay, so tell me something.
Yeah.
What was he in? Was he in Dr. Dolittle? Then he was in Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
He did a lot of really shitty things, and he did some really arty things. Was he in Oppenheimer?
He was, which I still haven't watched. He was in that as well.
Because then he did that. So what happened in Avengers is as Iron Man, he died.
Yes,
Iron Man's
I know
dead.
that. Yes.
But now he's taken on another role of Doctor Doom. So, like, is it a Tony Stark variant because I got multiverses? Is he just an act? What's going on? So that's why, because the trailers for all that are starting to
so that's what
appear.
it is.
Super Bowl's coming. They're going to make a big spiel about all that shit. Grammys, Oscars, LA Fires.
I watched the what I want to talk about. There's a documentary. It came out in 2023 called Robert Downey Jr. High Altitude.
Okay.
And it's a very good documentary, just under an hour long, and it basically gives you his life story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I thought I knew everything about him because I really have been following him since, the 80s. There's a lot of interesting things in there. They go into detail into his relationship with Sarah Jessica Parker. They got together in the 80s.
Huh?
Do you not know that they had like a really long relationship, him and Sarah Jessica Parker?
My mind is blown.
Yeah.
Because
They met on the set of something obscure, or they might have even met in the theater because they were doing theater as well. And they were together for years and years and years. And
did she go from Robert Downey Jr. to Matthew Broderick? Esquire.
Pretty much, yeah.
So she kind of
there
went,
might have been something
wow.
in between, but yeah.
Yeah, that I had that wild ride.
Yeah.
Let me just take a day off, basically.
I think that she really, really, really loved Robert, but she couldn't deal with the drugs. She tried very hard. She stuck with him for a long time. And she was the one who initially put him in rehab.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, no, she really tried.
Okay.
But it just didn't happen.
Right, I did not.
Yeah, so
wow, that is a great factoid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew that they were together, but it went into a bit more detail of their relationship, how they met and stuff like that. I actually want to read you the description of the doc because it's really, really nicely written. When we think of a prolific yet tumultuous career in Hollywood, a name stands out amongst the crowd. In a roller coaster of events from stardom, rock bottom, and returning as one of the most well-known actors in the industry, thanks to his incredible portrayal of his roles and charismatic demeanor. From his hardships to his incredible retribution, this is Robert Downey Jr. And it really is, when you watch the documentary, you realize, A, he's very lucky.
Okay.
He's very lucky to have, A, survived.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, to say that his career went on an upward trajectory is like an understatement. Because when he did, I don't know if you remember, he did Chaplin. He played Charlie Chaplin.
Yes.
That was in the 90s. That was like his breakout role. Everyone was like, oh my God, who is this actor? Because he had been in a bunch of stuff in the 80s. He had been in Less Than Zero. We had Science. I cannot for the life of me remember any others, but there was a bunch. But they were all relatively minor roles. And then Chaplin was his first lead role.
Yes, okay.
And what's cool about this documentary is
and what I remember about Chaplin is at the time is there... Nowadays, you get like when you have a biopic, you have like everyone leans into it, becomes the person, whatever.
Yeah.
I somehow remember Robert Downey Jr. being the first person that became, because we've seen so many, like you've seen Jamie Foxx became Ray Charles. We've seen like Joaquin Phoenix become Johnny Cash. Like we've seen that.
Yeah.
But I think Robert Downey Jr. was the first time that you really became aware of somebody going, wow, this is different.
Yes.
You're just not acting like the person because you kind of look like them. You've become them.
Yes.
And I think he was the first person in my memory that did it.
And what's cool about this docu is there's a lot of like snippets of interviews, like the promo interviews he would have done around the movies at the time.
Okay.
You must remember, during this time, he was in the midst of his drug, like, I don't even know how to explain it, his drugness. It was all he was doing. There was so much pressure on him to perform as Chaplin.
Yeah.
The director, Richard Attenborough,
yeah,
for a start, gave him this chance and said, I know you can do it. No pressure, right?
No.
So much pressure. He did say, and it comes across in the interviews that they show on this docu that he almost regretted doing it because it was so hard.
Okay.
And I think it was extremely anxiety-inducing and difficult for him. But then it was a success. It did work out for him.
I'm watching the trailers kind of playing in the background here. Was he in Natural Born Killers?
I saw that, and I don't remember him in Natural Born Killers. Look, it's not one of my favorite movies, so I've only watched it like twice.
Yeah.
He might have had a small role in it. He certainly wasn't one of the main people in it. But I also saw that when it came up.
Lot of clips here of him with long hair, which I don't hate. Not at all.
There's even in the doc you see him bald, completely bald, which must have been for a role, possibly Oppenheimer, because I haven't seen it.
Which must have been every single Hollywood actor.
And
because
you see
they
him
all
with
have implants.
longish hair. They go into his other relationships. He did get married to a woman named Deborah Falconer. She was also an actress. They had a child together. That also, funny enough, didn't last because of the drugs. And so they go through his personal life. I mean, I don't know if you know, he's now with this woman named Susan. They met and they've now got kids together, and she has been instrumental in kind of his whole rise.
It's unreal, actually, when you think about it. When you think about him from the 80s, like to who he is now.
Yeah.
Like, people have fucking literal action figures of him.
And you know what
I
struck
mean?
me watching this docu, because it showed so much actual footage over the years, he looks better now than he did. Obviously, he's much older now, but he looks so much better.
He was healthier, happier, yeah.
He looks as young, but healthy.
Yeah.
So he has aged amazingly, and I mean, he has become a vegan. So there might be that. There might be something to that. He does a martial arts thing. He does like hours and hours of training. It's extremely healthy. The one sad thing that happened, remember when I spoke about the doc he did about his dad, because his dad did die.
Yeah.
He had a Parkinson's. They were very close. But it was a difficult relationship because his dad gave him his first marijuana joint at 7 years old.
I remember that from that documentary.
Yeah. And so his dad lived with a lot of guilt about his drug problems. Basically, it was his fault. It was my fault.
But you know what, Dad? It was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and make you feel better about yourself.
But it's not like
God rest.
It's not like he had bad intentions. He was just like, oh, this is something we do.
Okay, cool. That's a fucking child. I understand people can be liberal, right? I understand the French like a little glass of wine. But giving a child a joint at 7 years old, even in Hollywood, is good. Like, fuck sakes.
I know,
it is all your fault, Dad. I mean, come on.
So there's a clip of an interview where they're supposed to be promoting some movie. I can't remember which movie. And the interviewer goes, of course, and starts asking him about his relationship with his father. And Robert, you can see, gets very upset and he actually walks out of the interview.
Okay.
Yeah. It's actually very interesting.
Okay.
So a bit of a nerve touch there, I think, as well. I think you remember I told you I met him very briefly when he was here.
Yes.
He's a very interesting person. Like, you can see there's a lot going on under the surface. Even all the clips that they show in this documentary, the interviewers are sometimes asking the stupidest questions. And you can almost see that he's like wanting to roll his eyes. He's impatient, but he puts on this politeness and he plays the game. He does the thing. I think he's an extremely introspective person.
But you know, on stuff like that, right? You often see it, and I think there was a clip floating around of Blake Lively or something. Like, we've been on the other side of it, that when you're doing an interview, and we've never we interviewed some nice people, never Robert Downey Jr. level like that.
Yeah.
And when these guys do these press junkets, it's like, you are not allowed asking them anything than other what's there. So when these actors act like dicks, it's like, okay, just be fucking professional. If I had a million questions to ask you, I would not ask you this.
Yeah.
I have to ask you this. There's like a million people sitting around us, making sure that I don't deviate. Like, fucking talk to them. Don't talk to me.
It's literally part of the job. It's like, this is your job.
Exactly. And I understand
questions.
You have to answer it 10 times in a day. That's all I'm allowed to ask.
It did make me think of the Celeb Savant's interview with Wendy James.
So I wasn't going to say her name, and I really think we should actually talk about it one day, because I think, can you defame her? I mean, no, she said it. She said it on tape. Yeah. Probably one of the weirdest and most awkward interviews I've ever heard.
Which is not out there
but
to be heard.
But again, it's like, he was only allowed asking certain questions. They wanted to vet the questions. Like, don't deviate, and then the people are dicks to you. It's like, a friend of mine, he interviewed the Foo Fighters. He interviewed Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins, and he decided, okay, I'm going to actually chuck in one or two other questions. And it was a telephonic interview. They put the phone down on him.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, but fuck, it's like, don't. And he goes, he didn't want to do that normal bullshit because
it's boring.
Sometimes what you don't know, like what people don't know, when we used to do radio interview, when there's certain artists coming to South Africa, and when they first, maybe it's a bit different now. You don't even get to interview them. You get sent a pre-recorded clip.
Absolutely.
And you've got to ask a variation of a question around it. I still hear sometimes.
Yeah.
I hear it and I hear it. That's exactly what they've done.
I know.
So what can you do?
I know.
You know, so for the celeb savant, for example, and the people at least we get to talk to a human being.
And I just want to say, let's just give the celeb savant a little bit of love. He really does ask really good questions.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. But anyway, the point is, like, when you see that, it's like, Robert, thank you. It's your job. I don't want to ask these questions. Those people are making me, if I ask the wrong thing, I'm getting kicked out. And I won't get the next interview. So, fuck, what am I going to do?
Anyway, this docu
and I'm a freelancer and I get paid per word. I mean, just give me a break.
This docu is just eye candy from minute 1 to minute 57 for anyone who thinks Robert Downey Jr. is lovely. And yeah, it's just a very enjoyable. The only complaint I have about it is that the narrator sounds like AI, and it might be.
You know what? So I've looked at it, and it's one of those. It could be because I see they've got. There's a Brad Pitt one. So it looks like those packaged kind of like it probably is chucked into AI. And it goes like, generate me a documentary on Robert Downey Jr. But listen, if they got a lot of very interesting footage, I'm always skeptical of a very short documentary because then you know it's AI or it's got a prepackaged.
I appreciated the fact that it wasn't too long because I haven't had a lot of time.
Okay, there you go.
So it's cool. It's enjoyable.
I saw it on. It is on YouTube. I saw it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I did not watch it on YouTube.
I just looked for it there.
Possibly on some of the streaming platforms.
High Altitude. Anyway,
it's called Robert Downey Jr. High Altitude.
There you go.
Yes, and it's not called High Altitude because he was always high,
or because he flew planes, or because Tony Stark, Iron Man, he went to space.
Right.
Yeah, that's the highest altitude you can get. Great movie. Brat Pack. Robert Downey Jr. Brat Pack adjacent.
Oh, there was actually a clip of that where an interviewer was asking him how he felt about being associated with the Brat Pack because he was associated with the Brat Pack, and he literally looks at the interviewer and goes, I've never even been in the same room as any of them. It was so funny.
I think just in the 80s, anybody that was young in a movie, Brat Pack automatically. So my movie is Brat Pack.
Awesome.
Got a Brat Pack. Got a Brat Packer who hates being called a Brat Packer. So I've got a movie. It's been on my list for so long. And I watched it, and it's like a bingo. You're just going to check off everything. An actor who should have known better, right? An actor who like realized in the movie, this is a fucking train smash, but it's a paycheck. A director who going into the movie realized this is called it a moron movie and was so dismissive of the movie the entire way. Okay. In fact, rumors are didn't even direct it. I'll get into that. It's got a link to Breaking Bad. It involves Bruce Springsteen and the Green Goblin, the villain from Spider-Man. Okay. That William Dafoe played, but the classic 80s looking Green Goblin. It's so great. In the 80s, what started happening, Stephen King, a lot of his movies started getting made into, a lot of his stories and books started getting made into movies. And they were really good ones. But this one, Dori, I want you to sit back. I want you to put on your seatbelt. I want you to put in your trucker hat. Tune in the frequency on your CB radio there and just say, hey, big doggy, we're hitting the road for a movie called Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Oh, yes. And you're going to...
I might even have seen it.
I hope you have. You're going to hear about it because as I tell you things, you're going to be reminded about certain things. So Stephen King books, stories start getting made into movies. But the producer of this movie approaches Stephen King and says, do you want to direct this one?
Stephen King.
So there's a movie called Trucks that they then adapted into a movie called Maximum Overdrive, and he was helping write in the screenplay. And the producer, Dino De Laurentiis, said, why don't you just direct it? And he was like, yes, okay, fine. I've never directed my own movie, one of my own stories.
Yeah.
Let me direct. I don't know how to direct though. I'm fucking Stephen King and I'm fucked on coke because he was at the height of his cocaine addiction. So much so that the main trailer for this movie is just Stephen King standing very scary looking in front of like this dark screen, ominously talking about, I've always seen my books turned into movies, and I thought no one can direct a movie like Stephen King could, so that's why I decided to direct this movie. He is tripping balls in this trailer. There are no pupils.
Looking it up.
His eyes are just, because you go, are they trying to make him look scary? No, he is coked up as shit, right? So he starts directing this movie, and he realized at the beginning of this, I don't know what I'm doing. The whole thing sucks. Dori looks shocked. What have you seen?
I've just seen the description of it, the blurb.
Okay, well, I'll ask you for it now.
Yeah.
So he goes into this movie, goes, this is an absolute moron movie. Even though you wrote it, it's a moron movie. I want nothing to do with it. When he wasn't coked up, he was drunk. Okay.
Was it a short story?
It was a
his?
short story.
Yes.
Called Trucks. Yes.
Right.
That then they wrote into a full-length movie.
See, they've made this mistake before. You can't make a full-length movie from a short story.
Unless
and
it's
some
a short
of his
movie.
short stories are really good, and some of them are really not.
The intentions behind it were really good. So
Yeah.
he had a lot of short stories around, he had Lawnmower Man, he had Trucks, and there was a third one. And they wanted to put them into an anthology series and maybe make an anthology movie called Machines, right? And then they're like, no, that's not going to fly. People don't want anthologies, blah, 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 blah. Let's make a full-length movie of Maximum Overdrive and basically bundle it all into one.
Right.
At which point, I'm going to ask you to read the blurb.
There's a few. I'm going to read the shortest one.
Yes.
A group of people try to survive when machines start to come alive and become homicidal.
Yes. So, what happens is the Earth gets caught in the tail of a comet. Right. And this causes a fucking two-stunt, and all the machines go fucking haywire. Now, you might go, ooh, this is a very unrealistic scenario, unless you work with printers or the Apple iCloud. Then you know that fucking machines are evil and trying to kill us.
Totally.
While I was watching this movie, my wife was trying to fix the printer, and she was like, fuck, this thing is like, careful. It'll just suck your fingers in there. I'm watching the shit.
It could become homicidal.
And it is homicidal.
Yes.
And as for iCloud, I mean, God.
We won't even talk about
Nobody
that.
even knows how that works. No, do you know how it works?
No. No one knows.
I get the concept. Everything's up in the cloud. I use my device to get it. But then
It's
I've
so
got to
funny
sign
when you point upwards and look upwards when you say up in the clouds. The cloud is not up there.
But where is it? It's down there. It's in hell.
Down in a basement somewhere.
It's in hell. Fuck. Okay. So, but anyway, those are the evil. So this is true.
Yes, right.
So all machines start going fucked up. Okay. Now, Dori, do you want to hear of some of the ways that machines kill people?
Please.
Okay. There's a baseball coach who, after a group of young boys are playing baseball practice, he goes to a vending machine, tries to get a can of Coke out, shoots a can out at him in the head, dead. And then starts shooting Coke cans at all the kids. Just fucking firing them at them.
Subliminal advertising for Coke? Because that's not exactly like
as soft drinks.
positive.
Soft drinks, okay. And unbranded.
Okay.
Pick and pay cola. Shooting pick and pay cola at the kids. A steamroller crushes a kid, pops his head.
Is it very gory?
Very gory. In fact, Stephen King kept making it gorier and they kept cutting it out. Because he's like, well, if I'm going to make it so that it's... yeah, because they need.
It is described as a dark comedy.
So this is what they lean into it. But the thing is,
Right.
Stephen King wanted to make it a horror and gory, and there's rumors that the movie was ghost directed by somebody else, and this guy kept going, "Fuck, this thing is a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I have to make it funny.
Yeah,
because
that's the only way
if
to
I
save
don't,
it.
it's not. So
no one's going to take it
they
seriously.
kind of balanced it out. So it ends up being fun, but you can see it was never meant to be funny.
Right.
But it becomes hilarious. It's so good.
Okay.
A guy's putting petrol in his car, and then it just suddenly got like all the petrol sprays on him because the machine just fucking goes crazy and just sprays on him, and then it catches a light.
Just so.
Yeah, I don't even know matches. Now matches are evil.
Right.
You know what I mean? A drawbridge. There's a drawbridge at a tunnel. Just starts flipping cars all over the place, crushing people in the drawbridge. It's all. The first time Stephen King makes a cameo in the movie, goes to draw from an ATM. The ATM doesn't kill him, but calls him an asshole. Yeah.
I think this movie is foreshadowing our future. with AI.
It's foreshadowing the iCloud. It's foreshadowing the iCloud.
This is exactly what we are in for.
No, you know what? I'll take that.
Really?
Yeah, I'll take that any day rather than those bullshit AI pictures that I see all day. I'd rather be fucking shot in the head by a can of fucking Mello-Yellow than have to look at those terrible ones where they make you kiss. Those ones. Have you seen those?
No.
Make any picture kiss. You see that shit? You see, that's what I'm saying. If
I thought you
machines
talk about pictures with 7 fingers on one hand.
Yeah, but that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like of all this technology, let the machines do that shit. Oh, rather let's show pictures where I kiss a celebrity. You know what I mean? Like, let's make it useful. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, the machines didn't become sentient to do that. They didn't do that shit. And then the Breaking Bad link.
Yes.
A very, very young, very looking exactly like Bruno Mars, Giancarlo Esposito pops up in this movie.
Oh, I love
As
him.
a nobody. He's a nobody. He's a little kid. He's young. He's so young in this.
Yeah.
And can you imagine him young? That's just weird. I can't.
Well, remember he
couldn't
was
have
in that
before
Don
this.
Johnson music video. He was quite young in that.
Oh, it's probably about the same age.
Yeah,
That's exactly what
yeah.
Yes, he looks exactly like
He
that.
looks like himself, just
Yes,
young.
just young.
You can totally recognize it's
De-aged.
him.
And he's a kid who goes to an arcade machine and he presses it and electrocutes him, blows him up.
I want to watch this movie. I actually really want to watch it.
Okay, well,
And I see the main star.
right, I'm going to get to that.
Yes.
So the main star is Emilio Estevez. Now, at this point, I can't ever imagine Emilio Estevez being the son of multi-Oscar award-winning
Martin.
Sheen. I was going to say, Charlie,
I know you were.
Thank you for the save. Ever struggled.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is not him early days. This is post Breakfast Club, post St. Elmo's Fire. He is huge superstar.
Yeah.
Right? Stephen King wanted Bruce Springsteen as the lead. I've never seen I've seen Bruce Springsteen in Curb Your Enthusiasm. I wouldn't call him an actor.
No.
You know, just not.
No.
And De Laurentiis said, no, listen, we want this to be like a movie like teenagers go to. I need a breakfast. I need a Brat
I need
Pack.
a Breakfast Club.
I need one of them.
The Brat
right?
Pack, yeah.
We're not putting fucking Bruce Springsteen. Now, you might think, because, funny story, De Laurentiis, when he was producing Flash Gordon, when they came to him and said, oh, we want to use Queen in the soundtrack, he said, what's the Queen? What's the Queen? Anyway, so it doesn't happen again. So now, Emilio Estevez, main character, and then the rest of the movie focuses around this like last stand truck stop where you got all the characters in the diner, everyone kind of like escaping the trucks, escaping the machines, ends up there, but of course the trucks come alive and start surrounding it and trying to kill them.
Like Transformers.
So the final part of the movie is about them fighting off the various trucks. And one of the trucks has got a green goblin from Spider-Man on his front like grill to symbolize that he's the baddie and he's the leader of the bad trucks. And it's just ways of killing the trucks. What I didn't even mention, this movie's so batshit bonkers. Yeardley Smith, who's the voice of Lisa Simpson, she's in this.
I saw.
Okay? And it's funny hearing the voice of Lisa say shit. So she's in this, and everyone kind of gets killed, and they come up with an idea. We're going to escape to an island, right?
Where there's no technology.
No technology, and they're going to take a sailboat to the island, and their whole quest for the end of this movie is to get away from the trucks, get to the dock. Convenient at the dock, there's a rocket launcher, because one truck survives, the Green Goblin truck gets to them, rocket launcher, which is now not possessed by machines.
For some reason.
Matches are possessed machines. This rocket launcher somehow escapes it. They shoot the truck ends, get on the sailboat, and off they sail to the island. And there is an epilogue that comes up that a UFO was destroyed in orbit by a Soviet weather satellite, which just happened to be armed with nuclear missiles and lasers, implying that the machines were being controlled by aliens. And after this, the machines stop attacking humanity, and everyone is safe for now. And these people are on an island with no fucking idea that the whole thing's over. Because they got
there's no
technology. But we said for now. For now. There was a made-for-TV version of it later, which never addressed any of it. These people on the island. Emilio Estevez is there. He has referenced it as the worst movie he's ever made. Stephen King, when asked, why haven't you directed another movie? Again, he said, did you ever watch Maximum Overdrive?
Oh, is that his answer?
That's his answer.
I am so keen to see this now.
I
Oh my
love
God.
a movie that everyone involved in it hates and we love. Maximum Overdrive.
It sounds so bad, it's good.
It is on Plex. It is on YouTube.
Excellent. Guess what I'm watching tonight?
That's what I'm telling you. Great movie. We're going to cut it right there. Dori has got to go do some adult stuff. This has been that
That
80s
sounds
show.
so bad. Can we just clarify that?
Oh, no, we're going back to your pervy opening of last week. We won't be doing that again. Dori, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
You go off and do things. Terrible timing by us today, but at least you got a show in your ears. Everything on that 80s show. SA on Facebook. Dori's already out the door. I'm fucking everything up. Goodbye.